If you like what you're about to hear, please consider leaving a review, or liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube. I don't have a Patreon or enable ads for this, so if you really like Oldex, please do contact Games Workshop on social media or via email, and tell them you want me to narrate their audiobooks for realsies. Oldex, Codex Assassins Introduction, page 2. Written by Gav Thorpe, narrated by R.J. Bailey. With great thanks to Dave Crow for donating this copy of Codex Assassins. Introduction. Thought begets heresy. Heresy begets retribution. Anon. Welcome, Grandmaster, to Codex Assassins. Within these pages you will find everything you need to unleash the devastating warriors of the Officio Assassinorum against the enemies of the Emperor. The Assassins. There are many weapons the Imperium can bring against treacherous commanders, alien leaders, and subversive cultists. It commands the vast might of the Imperial Guard and Navy, which have the power to raise whole worlds and slaughter any number of foes. It can call upon the aid of the Space Marines to bring swift and final vengeance against those who would threaten the Emperor's domains. The gigantic Titans and other war engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus can obliterate cities. Yet all these fail to instill the dread which the enemies of mankind feel at the mention of a single word: assassin. The Officio Assassinorum is responsible only to the fabled Senatorum Imperialis, the High Lords of Terror, who interpret the Emperor's will. Silent, deadly, and ruthlessly efficient, an assassin can strike at the heart of the problem, quickly and cleanly removing those who would dare oppose the Emperor. Impassive and impersonal, an assassination sends a clear message to heretics and rebels. No one is beyond the Emperor's justice. The Officio Assassinorum is divided into a number of different temples, each specializing in a certain manner of death. From the shape changes of the Calidus Temple to the horrifying Psyker hunters of the Colexus Temple, the Officio Assassinorum servants deal death in many, many ways. Assassins in games of Warhammer 40,000. Assassins are highly skilled, with very specialized war gear. They are a simple solution to offsetting certain weaknesses in an army, or for further bolstering your strengths. Having problems dealing with pesky Eldar warlocks or orc knobs? Why not field a Vindicare assassin to pick them off from afar? Is your Imperial Guard army suffering badly because it lacks the units which can take on the enemy in an assault? Sounds like the bioalchemical nightmare of an Eversor assassin would come in handy. Assassins also give you a chance to show off your painting skills, if you want. Each of them is a character model. The miniatures have lovely areas of detail, which you can really spend some time on. Just have a look at some of the assassin miniatures shown on the inside covers, and then say with all honesty that you wouldn't like at least one sitting on your shelf. What's in this book? This codex breaks down into the 3 main sections listed below, each of which illuminates a different area of using Imperial assassins in your games of Warhammer 40,000. The Officio Assassinorum. This section contains the different game rules and army list entries for the assassins you can include in your army. Painting and gaming advice. Included are some tips on painting and modeling assassins. There are also some ideas about different ways you might like to use assassins in your games. Background. A collection of background material from various sources, including information on the terrible times of the War of Vindication. Important note. You must have an Imperial army of some description, Space Marines, Imperial Guard, or Sisters of Battle, for example, to use an assassin. If you don't have one of these armies, you're going to have to come up with a very good reason why an assassin should be supporting your cause. Imperial Artifact 03AB.90632CA Neuro Gauntlet and Executioner Pistol Ref Eversaw Assassin 9374700.M40 to 9438457.M41. Facets of Neuro Gauntlet, Hypodermic Incisors, Neural Shock Generator, Neurotoxin Synthesizer. Modified Bolt Pistol, Terran Pattern, Facets, Bi-Stabilized Targeting Sight, Needle Projector, Neurotoxin Synthesizer, Genetically Coded Polymorphic Grip. Cross-reference, file Alien Technology, EP1.01A. You have been listening to Oldex, Codex Assassins, Introduction, page 2, written by Gav Thorpe, narrated by R.J. Bailey. With great thanks to Dave Crow for donating this copy of Codex Assassins. Thank you to Gav Thorpe for writing the fiction I grew up with. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a review where you found it, or like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, depending how you're listening. I don't have a Patreon or enable ads for this, so if you really like Oldex, please do contact Games Workshop on social media or via email, and tell them you want me to narrate their audiobooks for realsies. This production, like all of Oldex, is entirely unofficial and uncommercial, from an out-of-print publication, is a derivative work with all copyrights owned by Games Workshop, and is a celebration of the hobby and lore I grew up with. If you have suggestions for other old Codex fiction for me to narrate on this podcast, you can comment, contact me on Twitter @RJBailey, or email robertjbailey@gmail.com. Links are in the show description.